Hi there everyone, I am King 5 meteorologist Adam Claibon. Sunday has been absolutely perfect and really the entire 4th of July weekend has been wonderful. Now today it did start to warm up just a bit more. We saw a few more of those upper 70s and low 80s with all the sun. Shelton, Olympia, Puyallup and Chehalis all making their way up into the 80s this afternoon, while up around Bellingham mid 70s and then out towards the coast more 60s and low 70s. Still going to keep things on the cooler side out towards the coast. Expect more 60s over the next couple of days. Where it's going to heat up is right in that location right there. A few more numbers for you. 79 for the high today. That was 3 degrees off of what the average is, which is at 76. 57 for our low today, so not too far off of those normals here for this time of the year, and nowhere near those records what we saw back in the year of 1960, which was up to 94 degrees. Also nothing out of the rain gauge out of the airport either. Not going to see anything over the next couple of days, but there could be some shower chances as we go later into the week. We're going to talk about that here in a second. First, we got to get into the heat that's going to be around here into Monday and Tuesday as we start off the work week. What's happening though is it doesn't really get too hot out here towards the coast because we keep a little more of that onshore push in place. That's why you have these clouds and more of that kind of damp look to the camera right now. Kind of looks fuzzy. We got that moisture in the atmosphere. Going to keep things quite a bit cooler out here towards the coast and the south coast especially, as opposed to what you're going to see farther to the north and a little farther inland. Looking at the Strait of Juan de Fuca, looks like we got a cruise line moving its way on through right now, and off into the distance you can see Mount Baker right there. Not too choppy with the water either. Winds haven't been too terribly strong and really don't expect them to be that strong either here throughout tonight or into the day for tomorrow. Looking at Painfield, a few of those upper level clouds, a few from our Queen Anne camera too, as we get ready to end off our Sunday, sitting at 76 degrees as of about 7 to 8 o'clock really on your Sunday evening. Still have a little bit of a breeze out there, so if you can open up those windows, allow some of that cool air to come into your homes, and if you can close your doors and your windows and lock them up and lock that cool air in place here as we get into the day tomorrow, which is expected to be hotter, go right ahead and do so. Temperature is going to drop down into the 50s tonight, but the air mass is modifying. That's why many of us are up right now in comparison to yesterday at this point. 3 to 4 or 5 degrees, not a drastic change. You're noticing more of the difference off to the north here in Bellingham and in Friday Harbor, while out towards the coast, not as much of a difference. Actually cooler in comparison to at this time yesterday. Again, that's closer to about 8 o'clock here. We're in the upper 50s to low 60s out towards the coast. For Port Angeles, we're at 63 degrees, but interior spots, that's where we have the heat in place right now in the mid to upper 70s. Now radar, I'm just going to stay quiet for us. Entire state completely void of any sort of shower activity at all. That's because that system is moving well off to the east right now. We have high pressure in control. We got another one too. That's going to be the one responsible after it kind of spins up here over the next couple of days and starts to drag more of these clouds farther to the south, that we'll have a chance of seeing some showers into our forecast. But you can see tonight into the day tomorrow, just a few of those passing clouds. Here we are at 5 o'clock tomorrow morning and getting ready to start off that work week again. A few of those clouds passing on by. We'll have some of them in place too, but you're noticing out here towards the coast, we still have some of those milky white colorings showing up over here. That's that marine air that's going to keep things a bit more cloudy, like we saw in our tower cam shot getting closer to Westport. Yeah, it's still going to be a bit more on the cloudier and the cooler side, at least early into the morning. We get more sunshine as we go later on into the afternoon though, out that way. But it starts to repeat itself again heading into Tuesday, because this system is going to start to increase some of that onshore flow here towards the coast. That's why we'll have a bit more of that cloud coverage and that marine air that is going to be in place. Maybe a little bit of it here closer to areas around more Puget Sound and up and down the I-5 corridor, but we really don't see the big difference yet because we're still going to warm things up quite a bit heading into Tuesday. But the rain that's on this way, it looks a lot more impressive earlier into the afternoon. That's 2 to 3 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. But then by the time it reaches us, a lot of that moisture starts to break on down. We actually don't see as much of it as what they're expecting farther to the north. Where we could see some spots that could have maybe some higher totals, we're going to keep an eye out for Skagit, Whatcom County, parts of the San Juans, northwest interior, closer to that moisture source. That might help us out just a bit more. But all in all, I think we are going to get some rain that's going to move on here. And for the most part, most of us will get a chance of seeing at least some light showers with this as it pushes on by. That's going to be with us here from about 10 o'clock early into Wednesday morning, and then take its time to completely get out of here. So we could see some of those lighter showers, albeit very sparse and very light, in place as we head on into the latter part of your Wednesday evening and heading into Wednesday night. So when we're talking about totals with this right here, Check it out as we head on into early parts of Wednesday. Just a tenth of an inch only beginning to pop up out there. Now, we do expect as we go later on into the forecast, once we get into Wednesday, that those amounts will start to pick back up just a bit more. And what's going to be helping us out too with the heat is going to be that system as it drops temperatures back down into the low to mid 70s Wednesday and Thursday. Wouldn't be surprised if many of us probably don't even get out of the 60s on Wednesday because of all the cloud coverage that's expected to be in place to go along with some of those showers that we'll have around. Back up into the 80s by Friday and probably not quite as warm heading into the weekend, but we are going to see more 80s as we head into the latter part of this week. Overnight tonight, dropping down between the low to mid 50s, low 50s out towards the north coast there at 51, 52 in Port Angeles. We'll drop down to 54 in Orcas Island and Everett, dropping down to 54 degrees. Forecast tomorrow, 77 in Blaine. Orcas Island will get up to 75, 80s down this way around Mount Vernon. Lake Kavanaugh getting up to 82 degrees. Also, we'll hit mid 80s at 86 degrees, up to 86 as well around Goldsboro, Monroe, 84 out towards Clinton, 76 degrees for our high there. Oak Harbor up to 67. We'll see low 80s down this way around Kingston and in Paulsville. Bainbridge Island getting up to 79, topping off at about 84 in Shoreline and mid 80s around Issaquah, down towards the Maple Valley and around towards Auburn. We'll probably get closer to about 90 tomorrow around Puyallup and in Olympia, down towards Tenino getting up to 88 degrees. What we're going to see is a little more of that increased onshore flow on Tuesday, so we might keep things from getting as hot on Tuesday as opposed to what we're going to see heading into the day on Monday. 88 around Castle Rock. Longview getting up to 88 degrees. The coast, again, a little more of that onshore push, keeping us more so into the 60s out there. But as you get away from the water, you do start to heat up quite a bit, up to 72 degrees around Forks. Lake Crescent getting up to 74 degrees and Port Angeles topping off at 71. All right, here's your 7-day forecast. Monday and Tuesday, both in the 80s. Try to stay as cool as possible here over the next couple of days. We do get that break from the heat heading on into Wednesday and Thursday with highs falling back into the 60s, 70s, and more the mid 70s heading into Thursday with any of those showers that we have around heading out of here during the earlier part of the day and then getting back into the sunshine and the 80s again as we head into the end of the week.